Alright everyone, you remember how Kyle Rittenhouse supposedly was a massively violent weapons trafficker who went to Kenosha in order to go and gun people down? Well, it turns out that's not the case. The state of Illinois is not going to prosecute him on weapons charges there because it turns out that, as I told people, many weeks ago, and as was rumored at the time, and it was called, oh, it's discredited, it's not actually the case, and the whining, salty, man-baby soy faces of the left refused to acknowledge the reality, which was that the rifle that was used by Rittenhouse came from Wisconsin in the first place. State of Illinois can't charge him. State of Wisconsin is still going ahead with charges based on the fact that he was under 18, but I don't think any of the charges are going to stick. Meanwhile, the dude who provably fired a shot at Rittenhouse, or as a warning shot, before Rittenhouse was pursued by these other individuals, has been charged. So Rittenhouse acted in self-defense. A shot was fired. Rittenhouse, in fear from his life, fled. He was fleeing, by the way, conforming to duty to retreat. He was physically attacked by 3 individuals. He was assaulted by 1. Another one aimed a deadly weapon at him. He responded in self-defense, in fear of his life. And unlike someone who felt guilty, he attempted to turn himself in, was ignored, and fucking went home in order to go sleep it off. That's not what a criminal does. That's what a scared 17-year-old who's just been in fear of his life and had no choice but to kill 2 people. That's how they act. So he was shot at first. In fact, the individual has been apprehended. That pretty much clears Rittenhouse. If someone has already fired a shot and you're trying to retreat and you got all these people attacking you, what the fuck are you supposed to do? What the fuck are you supposed to say? He was having shit thrown at him. He fell down. He was attacked physically by a dude who tried to beat him over the head and take his gun. In such a situation, you would have acted the same way unless you're completely out to lunch. In other words, unless you're like fucking Joe Biden or Hunter Biden on one of his crack binges. Or apparently if you're a breadline tuber, they think that you should just submit to the mob because they're cucks. I mean, come on. How much more fucking cut and dry can it be that this kid isn't going to get to see the inside of a cell in an actual prison? I think they've got him detained, or they did, and he posted bail maybe. It's funny because the GoFundMe for him, the initial one got taken down. While GoFundMe, by the way, was openly promoting one of the people that physically attacked him and attempted to shoot a 17-year-old who was in fear of his life and retreating at the time. Very interesting. Rittenhouse veins of steel because he managed to blow the dude's arm half off without killing him in order to disable his gun hand. I mean, his control and coolness is to be admired. I think that Rittenhouse will be cleared of all the charges. I think he'll sue most of the legacy media for insinuating or outright saying he's a white supremacist. There were people that were posting that video of him defending his sister in a high school fight, which was completely unrelated to Kenosha. There were people that said he went there looking for a fight. There are people that claim that he trafficked a weapon. All of these claims were false. They are all defamation. They all led to a situation which once he gets, off, which he will, how's he going to find a job? Half the population thinks he's a Nazi killer. How's he going to find a date? Well, maybe he'll have to get one of those Aryan cutie pies or something like that. His life has been fundamentally changed, and it's irreparable. The damage that's done when a bunch of billionaires say that you're a terrible person, when GoFundMe explicitly endorses a person who was aiming a gun at you when you were defending yourself, again, as a court will find, which is important in such a case, couldn't he sue them too? Blocking his fundraiser, openly promoting a dude who was breaking the law by trying to chase him down and gun him down. And I think here's what ultimately happened. He put out a dumpster fire. He then left the scene. Someone fired a shot. He ran. People assumed he was the one that fired the shot because he was out in the open with a gun very visible. The person who actually fired a shot was off to the side, I guess next to a dumpster or something, half hidden in the darkness. Well, there you go. People mistook him for a shooter, and they attacked him. He, realizing that he was fleeing an actual potential shooter, he decided to defend himself. Cut and fucking dry. He's not going to serve any time on these charges. None of them. The only thing they might possibly get him for is having a weapon while under 18. Well, again, he attempted to retreat. He was attacked. When someone's trying to murder you, does it really matter if the means by which you defend yourself is, a Class C misdemeanor or some irrelevant bullshit like that? He'd get time served. He's sitting in the cell for a weekend he'd have time served. He is going to sue the ever-loving shit out of these people when he gets off on these significant charges, and I can't wait to see that happen. Meanwhile, the dude who fired the first shot, shouldn't they be charging him with murder? He's the one that started the problem. Rittenhouse had put out a fire and was leaving the scene at the time. He starts running because he got fucking shot at. The person who fired the shot should be the one going on these charges and should be civilly liable to Rittenhouse. Put him in jail for the rest of his life as the miserable cretin, as the menace to society he really is. That's about all. Peace out.